If you're stuck in the mud, try shifting the gear. If you're thinking too much, let go of the fear. If you got a friend problem, why not try being kinder? Cause complaining is easy, building bridges is harder. I'm just being honest, nobody owes it to you. But if I can do it, you can do it too. If you're stuck in the mud, try shifting the gear. If you're thinking too much, let go of the fear. If you got a friend problem, why not try being kinder? Cause complaining is easy, building bridges is harder. I'm just being honest, nobody owes it to you. But if I can do it, you can do it too. Meet me in the video.
Right, we're here.
If you're stuck in the mud,
It's Wednesday, September 25th. It's one of my best friend's birthdays from high school.
Nice.
Brian as well. His name is Brian. So it's all
He must be a good guy.
definitely all good things. Well, guys, good, happy Wednesday. That's a week. Bro, where are we right now? You're sitting at home? You're sitting at lunch?
I'm not at home. I'm eating like a second breakfast right now. I've got the luxury of having one of my kids off at school. My other one's Bible study with my mother. So I worked out, got most of my steps in. I got like 12,000 steps so far in for the day. And now I stopped off at my favorite breakfast joint called Burke Eatery. And I'm going to sit here and enjoy one of my favorite breakfasts of all time. Huevos
Beautiful.
Rancheros. So, yeah.
I worked in a couple of restaurants, and I worked in one where we always had family meal, and especially on days that we worked breakfast and brunch in New York City. Being a server, being a waiter in New York City during brunch is like going to war. But it's ridiculous. Everyone's unhappy. Everyone wants eggs. Look at these huevos rancheros. I'm loving this. That looks like a great green sauce.
It is. It's a delicious green sauce. Over easy eggs on top, and some sweet potato fries. Can't go wrong with that.
Beautiful, man. I'm loving it. Well, thanks for letting us join during
Sorry
lunchtime.
to always be eating when we do this.
No, that's the way to be doing it. Plus, it's like it's time to be eating for you, so it's all good. I appreciate you just being here right now. I have some new toys today. Look, this is my dream, is to continue developing content, to talk all things nutrition, to talk all things health. And so, especially for any dads out there, parents out there, remember, we are trying our best to give you some confidence, make you feel confident in your health mindset and connection. So that's what we're doing right now. Now, what we've been doing with HealthDads across the past, like 3-ish weeks, because I was away for a week, so we didn't really do much all week. But some things we do, 3 definitely in particular. We do one thing, kind of state of the client world, kind of questions that we're definitely getting. And then also we do BroFit's movement of the day. And today maybe plate pushes. We don't know. We'll see once we get there. And then we're going to end with a little bit of a this way, that way. This way, that way is where we talk a nutrition or training topic, and we choose either pro or not anti, but like either, for or against a certain topic, and just kind of set ourselves in a different mindset. So that's where we're at. And we love all of our people joining live. We got Dylan Ray joining right now. Dylan Ray, you are in, where are you again? You are in, not Kansas City. Where are you? Somewhere. I forget, but thanks for joining. Guys, any questions at all? Anything that you want to bring up? Anything you want to discuss? We are here to talk all things for you. St. Louis. He's in St. Louis. Okay. So, but any nutrition topics, bring it up, and then we are good to go. Let's jump in. I'm going to show you some new fun tools that I tried to kind of bring together here. Right. What's happening? Any in the past 24 hours, anything come up with any clients at all?
So I have one of my clients who's out in New York right now on a business trip, and so we're just trying to figure out a schedule for him in terms of getting in a workout. He's kind of one of those guys that's at the mercy of other people, and they need to be able to fit it in when he can. So right now it's I usually see him in person. So now that he's starting to travel a little bit more, it's a little bit more difficult for him to set aside the time and have something where it fits on my schedule as well. I'm a little bit more open. I tell him, hey, listen, just give me a call, give me an hour of your time, and let's get it in. But I find my clients finding more excuses as they start to travel with either eating habits or this movement. The only time that movement ever seems to increase or seems to be better is when they're actually on vacation during the summer. And most people start to go for walks, or they're getting out a little bit more frequently, or they're going to the park and stuff like that, and just being a little bit more active. So as we get into these later months, October, November, December, we start having a lot of these holidays and seasons coming up, and people start traveling a little bit more. People start giving themselves a little bit more excuses as to eat outside their comfort zone, or to eat a little bit more frequently than they should, or to eat foods that aren't necessarily on their meal plan, things that are going to achieve their goals. So just kind of dealing with the daily nuances. I always look at our job as kind of like a mathematical problem. We're eliminating issues and we're trying to solve the problem, right? We're solving an issue, trying to figure out what the best way to work with what we've got at that moment. And for Run, Rudder, and Different, it's not always going to be the best thing, but I think we can prioritize that time to be more efficient so that we can maximize our results. That makes sense.
Okay, yeah. I think that when I have a lot of clients traveling too, I love working with the movers and shakers here across New York City, doing so many different things, and they're just exciting people. They're dynamic. One thing I'd like to tell many of my people that are travelers, number one, is always never blame your travel, never blame your lifestyle, because a lot of people will think, well, I can't stay active or I can't stay consistent. And if that is someone, I'm always telling you, you have an amazing life. And if you do anything, you want to never blame your life, because if you get to travel, you get to be with your kids, you get to experience new restaurants, whatever it is, like that is an amazing thing. And if that's your lifestyle, then you're going to have to make sure that it fits in for you. And things definitely can. With the idea of the holidays coming up, Brian, I know there's probably a lot that is harder to stay consistent with for so many people. Let me ask you, if we were to look at the next couple months, and within if this is your first time watching, my Daily Dads, we do a daily podcast, daily live here, daily stream. We talk about things with Ryan Holiday's my Daily Dad book, or the Daily Dad book, which is the meditation daily. But we're basically talking every single morning. And from that, we've developed our other co-host, Blaze. Blaze has put together a step challenge, which we are going through the month of September and the first 2 weeks of October. But we're all pushing each other to get more steps and basically get active. And I think these are the months that really start to affect people, because they're going to stay inside more, move less, maybe because certain areas of the country, it's going to be colder or busier. All those kind of things really come up, and it makes it hard. But Brian, I'm curious, with the next couple of months here, we have October, November, December, right? That's like ahead of us. We have football, we have holidays, we have a lot of travel for some people, we have different weather coming up. If you were to kind of break up and break up the next 3 months and you thought about, October, November, December, where do you think the hardest period of that quarter of the year is?
Man, that's a great question. Because I feel like it all kind of just ties in together. Right now, I feel like it's the end of the summer, so people are still kind of, they haven't hit that hibernating stage yet. I feel like when it hits December, especially here in Arizona, it's more like January kind of a deal, just because January seems to be colder and it doesn't really snow here. But there's a hibernating stage where people kind of just, like you say, stop moving, or their movements in the gym slow down. It's kind of like, I kind of look at it as molecules. You heat up molecules, they move faster. Freeze them up, they slow down.
That's a good point.
It's almost as simple as that. Everybody kind of tends to slow down. Not to mention, how many parties do you go to? How many events that you're going to go to with cakes and cookies and bullshit like that? And I say bullshit because whenever we have parties or events and stuff like that, I don't have a bunch of that crap at our house. Because if I love somebody, I care about somebody, and I wholeheartedly want positivity for that person, or I want them to be a healthy individual, I'm going to give them the things that are going to make them healthier. In fact, I tell that to my folks, as the grandparents of my kids, hey, if you really love your grandchildren that much, stop bringing them fucking candy. Bring them like a steak. Bring them some nuts. Bring them some seeds. Like, bring them something that's going to be beneficial to them in the long run and in the short term. But yeah, it's man, that's a great question.
No, you know what? I want to stop you there for a second. One, I want to keep giving you enough time to eat because I'm sure that you want to enjoy your food. But two, I think I'm gonna lean into this idea here of making sure that we are giving this, a platform for us to really talk about these things. We're calling it a show, right? This is a show that we're really trying to make something, and as long as Brian can be invested as much as he can, I know that I'm going to be invested. But I think whenever you're creating some kind of show, you're creating some kind of story, right? You're connecting with people in so many different ways. I think that there needs to be identities of people that are running the show, right? And one thing in particular, and I think I would love to make this clear, and you stop me if you want me to, Brad, but I know Brian is leaning into a little bit more of a no-nonsense personality, because I think when it comes to no nonsense in terms of, let's say, movement and working out, it's something where, like, at the end of the day, you just have to make sure that you can get it done. And I know that Brian is also very aware of, the things, that the challenges that kind of can stop someone and help people work through it. I think when it comes to nutrition too, there's also a no nonsense type of message that, Brian has as well. I think within the industry itself, you can choose to be one or the other, right? You can definitely be someone who is more on the side of, and if I can pull out a few things here, the less is more kind of person, or, don't give yourself, what am I thinking of in terms of the training? I'm trying to bring that up right now. Give yourself, what's the word I'm thinking of? I'm going to keep pushing through if I can't think of that word. And I'm going to say, give yourself grace, right? So making sure that you kind of find grace, don't, allow yourself to fall into any kind of guilt or shame. I think some people can kind of fall so far one way where all of a sudden you've kind of lost the idea of what your goals are because you've given yourself so much freedom and so much room. Could some people learn better that way? Sure. But I think that the no nonsense approach in some way is necessary to make sure that you kind of shake free of some of those challenges. And so the personality, I think, that Brian is definitely sharing is completely necessary. So if you hear him talking like that, that's like, look to Brian for that. Be like, you know what? I need a little bit of a message right now that's not so fluffy. I need something just like, I got to shake this right now, because there will be a good dynamic between that message and maybe something else. And I'm definitely not all the way on the other side by any means. And I'm also not all the way on the, the complete, hard-nosed, you have to just make sure you get it done side. I'm going to always look kind of at both there. And I know Brian will too, but Brian, I think it's a little bit more like, that's his message right now. And so just when you hear him say these things, it's not that he doesn't care about someone's challenges or how it could be difficult for someone to achieve their goals. But I think he definitely understands that we need to make sure sometimes that we don't let ourselves slip up too much. So
Definitely.
just want to make sure, like lean into that personality, my man. I want to definitely see that for you.
Yeah, it's a fine line, because at the end of the day, we are hypothetically cheerleaders for our clients, right? We're motivating them, we're encouraging them, we're inspiring them to go do their things that they feel like they're incapable of doing, or they just don't want to do on their own. And so to me, it's a fine line of give and take. I was at the Jewish Community Center over here around in the area, and I was talking to one of the old trainers I used to work with. We're just kind of training with him. And I said, "How you doing?" He goes, "Oh man, I'm just kind of losing my spirit." I said, "Explain." He goes, "Well, I feel like I'm giving more than I'm taking." He goes, "Like at the old place, I could be kind of like a cheerleader and give out energy, and everybody would give it back to me, and I fed off of that. As a trainer, I kind of feed off of your clientele." So at the end of the day, you're right. I don't have, it's not like I don't get it. I understand the excuses and I understand the challenges and obstacles that come along the way. But if we're going to sit there and upon all the challenges and obstacles and not take action on it, then it just doesn't make any sense. Like it's like me looking at people that are in A, like going to A for like 10, 12, 20 years. Like I get it. It might be a part of you. It might have helped out in the beginning. Fucking move on. Like, why are you going to go? If I'm an alcoholic, the last thing I'm going to do is go sit around and talk about alcohol. Move on from those issues. Like to me, it's a stepping stool. It's kind of like our discussion yesterday with the tracking app of calories and stuff like that, or tracking your food. Like it's a great stepping stool, but it's gonna be a fucking crush if you just hold on to that. And it's like I was thinking about it this morning on a walk. I think somebody asked me like, "Hey Ryan, how'd you sleep last night?" But I think it was Blaze is asking, "How'd you sleep?" You're like, "Yeah," and immediately the first thing I thought was, "Hey, all these guys are tracking their apps. Like they have this tracking app. Like I wonder if that's their first thing that they relay back onto, and that information is their signal of how efficient I slept, rather than what were my feelings and how did I actually feel during that sleep, or whatever." So I'm always kind of curious how that equates and whatnot, but I really forget where I was bringing that back to.
No, it's good. Really good stuff, Brett. Your headphones are a little bit muffled when you're talking, but I definitely know what you're saying. Just
I can speak up a little bit too.
Oh, maybe that's what it is now. I wanted to I have one thing to say, and then let's move forward with something. And whatever you got to do, let me know in terms of moving around. And we also don't have to keep it for a full hour today. But with what you're saying, and I think kind of making sure that we're not just looking at steps or looking at sleep or looking at tracking calories or macros. If anyone is looking out there for any kind of support, and I will always tell someone that there's usually going to be 3 things that we want to make sure that we're focusing on, which is going to be, just if we're looking to improve health, which is going to be biological need, right? Calories and macros, and other things just like sleep and stress and all that kind of stuff. Like knowing what your body needs, regardless of if you want to give it to your body or not. There is something that we need there. But there's also going to be like satiety and structure. Satiety and structure is all about how we're really getting those things into our body throughout the day, but also connecting with our body, how we feel and all those. And there's also going to be this side of satisfaction and enjoyment. And so we need to make sure that we're really balancing those 3 things as best as we really can. And, we can't go through life thinking that we're only going to track our sleep or track our steps or just track our food without ever understanding how it does make you feel. If someone's going to track 30,000 steps in a day, I'm going to assume someone's going to tell me I'm tired. If someone's going to be tracking only 5,000 steps in a day, I'm going to be assuming someone's going to tell me I'm busy. So when we understand what those steps are, we can find solutions from there. The same thing with food. Today, I was talking to 2 clients about how we've really gone through a very successful body fat loss phase with that. One person lost about 15 pounds, one lost about 10 pounds of body fat, because our goal is always to maintain muscle mass. One person, we've done it for a longer period of time, one person for a shorter period of time. And usually the faster body fat loss goes, the more of a chance we lose some muscle mass, but you can usually mitigate that in some sort of way. But the
Yep.
big thing with them is they're at the tail end of their body fat loss phase right now. And we're moving them into like a lifestyle phase. I've really
Right.
stopped trying to use the word maintenance a bunch, because I think when I say maintenance, people think, okay, I'm going to go back to certain habits that I was maintaining previously, which is not really the case. And so we've kind of taught some things not to go back to. But also people that have tracked their calories or macros, they think that that maintenance number, how much calorie they actually need, how much that it is 100%, that's where they have to eat at. And it's just not the case. It just ends up being the top end. So I've been calling it for a while now. I call it their performance number. Your performance number, if you want to train and, perform, if you are jumping into a marathon today, you go to your performance number, 100% of your overall calories. If you're feeling like you are extremely hungry, you're not recovering well, you're not sleeping well, you're moody, your bowel movements are off, go to your maintenance, go to your performance number. But usually between 100% and 90% is a good area for a lot of people to know, to kind of live within. But again, those are just numbers. But once we define what those numbers mean, right? How many, like if someone's eating at 2,100 calories, what does that mean? For one person, it was basically like 2 meals and more, like a couple snacks throughout the day. The other person was closer just to 3 straight meals throughout their day. And it was really helpful for us to keep defining it. So when you go from your body fat loss phase into your now more maintenance lifestyle phase, how are we defining that outside of numbers? And for one guy, it was flanking his workout with a little bit more carbohydrate from some foods that he liked. And for another guy, you know what his answer was? What we came to? It was going out to a restaurant 2 times a week. When we talked that way, it was now bringing his calories up just based on what we were doing previously. And it was really helping him. So I feel like I'm definitely talking more to an audience right now, Bri, than I am talking straight to you. But
it's really interesting that you mentioned that, hey, your clients, the ones that are wanting to be moving and active and whatnot, that it sounds like they have a tendency to undereat, and that you're actually asking them to go out to maintain more calories and or when they need to feel better. And that's the thing that struck out at me. You're talking about when I'm not sleeping well, when I'm not performing well, when I feel like I'm tired or sluggish, when I feel like I just can't focus, whatever those things are, you're telling them eat more. And that's a beautiful thing. And I think that's a scary thing for a lot of people, because they might have this correlation of, well, more means bigger and more means fat and more means more. And that's where I love with what you talk about is food as being fuel. If you properly fuel your body the right way, you'd be surprised with how much quantity you can take in, like mass amount of quantities of food. And when you do eat really like pretty legitimately healthy and in terms of clean, not nutriently processed foods or bioengineered type stuff, to get 2,100 calories, and it's really pretty difficult. I mean, you have to eat 3 really big meals, or you're constantly eating all day long. It's almost a job to gain weight at that point.
Yeah, okay, this is probably my most divisive statement, and it's never, I don't think it's ever turned someone off. Maybe it has, and I just haven't talked to anyone after I've said it. I will always say this. It's so much easier to lose weight, and I'm saying weight in particular, not just body fat, but it's so easy to lose weight. It's so much easier to lose weight than actually put on muscle mass. It is by far the easier goal to choose weight loss than build muscle. And I'll tell you why. Because it's simple to tell you not to eat. It's simple to tell you don't eat X, Y, and Z. Cut out that whole food group. Now, it tends not to be the way that I go about and do things. Some people need that kind of answer. And like when we talk about Brian's character right now, or your personality on the stream, is, if there is no nonsense, sometimes a no nonsense thing, if I tell someone, I'm like, stop drinking alcohol. Just stop drinking alcohol, because it's really and like, that's not a message all the time, but for some people it might be a challenge, or for other people it might be like, don't go to that restaurant or don't have that. I tend not to do a lot of like no's and don'ts, but it is something to make sure that we like look at that individual and say like, just stop doing it. Stay clear of that environment. But back to the idea of it's easier to lose weight than it is build muscle, because it's harder to sometimes push somebody who has been so used to eating lower or under eating. And so it's hard to get them to actually eat deliberately at some of these higher numbers, right? So let's say, you know, I was just talking with one of my guys this morning, and the guy that I was at, we had changed a few things in his diet from a habit standpoint, not as much of a number standpoint, but we he had to go from basically this 18 to 2000 range that we were at, and I now am having to push him to 2600. It was 24 to 2600. And so it's hard to do that. It's hard to get it in. And I understand that if there is someone that's challenged with emotional eating or binge eating, you might be like, what? That is not hard to hit at all. Because yeah, in that scenario, in that mindset, it is not. But it is difficult, especially when your protein is high, when your fiber is high, when you're busy, you know, lifting, working out, walking a bunch. But yeah, if you are Susan sitting at a desk somewhere and you're eating a lot of these foods that are really hyper palatable, you can eat that many calories. But again, in the absence of protein and fiber and stuff like that, it's not going to be that beneficial of a way to eat, right? It can be incredibly unhealthy. So anyway, all right. So let's we'll keep some structure here. But any last?
The other thing, I'm gonna feed off of that a little bit, just because I'm jealous of fat people, and let me explain that.
Okay.
And you kind of explained it already, in essence, of that it's a lot easier to lose fat than it is to build muscle. And what most people that, if they're, I mean, even the slightest little bit, if they have any type of movement in their life and they're still a very heavier set person, I'm going to guess more often than not, they're also carrying around more muscle mass than their body should be taking as well. Meaning, if I put on an extra 50 pounds on me, the majority of the time I'm going to probably add on a little bit, especially if I'm moving it a little bit, right? So my metabolism hypothetically could be really fast. I have all that muscle already working for me, rather than, again, having to eat more and eat more and eat more and eat more and tear down that lean tissue in order to build up that lean tissue. I've already got that lean tissue, is what I'm saying. So to me, like you're saying, that they've already done the hard part in essence, because they've done all the eating. But what they need to do is now have that maintenance, right, and scale back, and now start to put it in the effort and start using that muscle so they can increase their metabolism and use it for your benefit. But like you're saying, if you're losing too much weight too fast, you're probably the majority of the time losing a little bit of muscle mass. And that's not what we're trying to accomplish, right? We're trying to maintain, if not put on a little bit more lean tissue as much as possible to increase that metabolism, to increase your just overall general health. So I love working with people who are overweight sometimes, especially overweight former athletes. If you're a former athlete, you've got a mindset that has been there once at one point before, especially college athletes. They've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. They know what it takes. They just haven't been there mentally in a while, and they need to have somebody take them back mentally. That's why I go to this kind of like no BS type mentality sometimes, because nobody's going to do it for you. Like, nobody's going to feed you. Nobody's going to literally like take you through the lunges. Nobody's going to like hold your hand. Like, you have somebody to motivate you and stuff, but at some point you got to make the decision to do it on your own. At some point you got to make the decision to make it a priority. At some point you got to sit there and look at the waitress and go, you know what, shit, I'm going to order this, this, and this instead of what I maybe normally would, and have it crush me, right? It's making these, and what I love is that we always talk about these smaller decisions throughout the day. There is not one decision where like, oh my God, guys, stop the phone. Everybody hear this. If you don't do this, like, you're missing it. It's no, we're a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a decision here, a choice there. And that's where I think it just adds up. And that's where I think everybody can gain on these things, whether you're just starting out or if you're a professional athlete. You can make one choice in the morning. You can make one choice in the afternoon. It could be a mental choice of like, hey, Brian, you can do this. I got this. Like, take a deep breath, tell yourself you can do it, and let's go after it. Okay, staying positive, right? It could be a nutritional choice. All right, I'm going to get up early and make breakfast a priority, or I'm going to make sure that my post-workout is phenomenal, or I'm gonna just dial in my nutrition tonight, whatever it is, right? We can always make these small choices that will ultimately allow us to succeed. And that's what I thrive on. So I don't want to take away from Mr. and Mrs. Jones, who may feel like stepping out of the house is a really, really big trouble. Take a step out of the house, walk down, go to the mailbox and come back. Give yourself a pat on the back, and that's a fucking success. And we move on to the next day. But let's continuously look at a way to go ahead and move forward, right? Last night, we were doing our steps. I even think I wrote out to everybody in the chat. I was like, I'm exhausted. I think, guys, like, I'm tired. Like, I took my nighttime tea an hour ago, my magnesium an hour ago. I'm half asleep right now. The kids are in bed.
Oh man,
I
I gotta be honest. Taking that magnesium knocks me out sometimes, and like it's so I'm like, why am I so tired? I'm like, oh yeah, and like I can't like I feel like I'm saying this in a good way because I think the magnesium. We can always. I would love to have a supplement episode and talk about different kinds of magnesium and whatever's happening. But magnesium like knocks me out. Didn't used to though, but it is now.
But you get it. We have a choice, and my choice is, hey, I can go to sleep. I can go lay in bed. In fact, that's what I want to do. Or I got 2,400 steps. I can help out Team Green continue to lead our way to success. I mean, me, Gramps, and Dom leading the way. Or I can use an excuse. An excuse is getting in the way. We all have an excuse. We can all use an excuse, and excuses are like assholes. Everybody's got one, and they all stink.
To highlight, I think one thing that definitely I would want everyone to hear, there are diminishing returns. If you are a lean individual already, and I would say a lean individual is going to be, probably someone that's going to be 17% or below. 15% is usually where a lot of people want to get to, and just a healthful body fat percentage. And I guess for men in particular, because we're talking men, but healthful body fat percentages, 10 to 20% is healthful for men. Most men are usually more happy around a body fat percentage of around 15 or below. Usually men that will come to me that are very active, but still relatively lean might be 16, 17, 18. Once you get above 20, a lot of men might feel that it's usually a little bit more visible in terms of body fat. I think what Brian's definitely saying here is that it's easier for someone that has more weight in a larger body to lose that body fat than it is for a lean individual to lose 1 to 2% body fat more. So the more body fat you have to lose, it can go faster, and that you can make some of these smaller steps, and those smaller steps might have a very large change versus someone who is already lean. You might have to not move the pebbles, but you have to move the boulders. So it's good to really know where you're at. Like, I will tell a lot of my very lean individuals, like 15% or below, that's trying to get lower, men in particular, well, men really, because we're talking about less than 15, because women, healthy body fat percentage should be 18 to 28%. But usually if a man is going to be like 16, 17%, we do have to find some larger things to change. Like, one thing in particular, I will tell you that most lean individuals, they live the leanest lifestyle, usually walking somewhere between 12,000 and 15,000 steps a day. So really, if I'm talking with somebody who is, again, already lean, and we look at their steps, that might be one of the first things that we really change, along with trying to keep their protein a little bit higher. So there's definitely a few things there that will work. But if you end up being in a larger body right now, above 20% body fat, you have a great gift right now. And a great gift means that you have the ability to lose body fat just a little bit faster. And hopefully that can develop a little bit more motivation. So definitely think that if you are someone that's out there and weight loss is definitely your body fat loss is your number one goal, you can make those changes and they can work for you right now very, very well. And if you don't know what some of those changes are, ask us. We'd love to know what's really going on, as we can advertise this show a little bit more so we can get people asking these questions. We can answer those things. I think it would be really great. I was trying to catch you, Bri, before you got to your car. How you doing? Can you still see and hear?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me though?
Yeah, I got you. Don't stress anything. If you,
I can see you. I can hear you. Are we good?
Yeah, man. You're all good.
No,
How
we're
long
good.
till?
Beautiful.
Okay, awesome. Your video's paused. Not a problem. Are you able to see me moving? Because I want to share something with you that I was excited about for you in particular.
Yes.
Got
Yes.
it. This is
Yes.
what I wanted, because we have different segments, guys. Our different segments, I think, are very exciting. Our segments of, hey, current topics, trending things with our clients, making sure we can bring those things to
Yep.
you. If you have questions, let us know what's going on. Now, we also have a segment that's called Brofit's Movement of the Day. But Brofit's Movement of the Day needs a little bit more than a little banner on the bottom of the screen.
It's the Brofit Movement of the Day. It's the Brofit Movement of the Day.
I let it loop there. Brofit's Movement of the Day. It has its own logo. It has its own sounds. If you didn't see it, we'll play it again later. But I'm excited for it.
I'm excited for it. Wow. I did not see it. I'm going to drive right by my son's school. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Can you hear me or no?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm driving right by my son's I'm driving right by my son's school, and the internet around here is miserable. So I know I'm going to be glitchy for the next 30 seconds, and then I should be completely free from there. So
yeah, no,
apologies.
it's all good. Again, I love to. If no one knows about me, maybe people don't. But the one thing that I love developing like marketing materials. I think I spend more time on that than I do on my product development, especially for my business, and that's not a good thing. But I love inspiring through advertisements and logos, and just giving a little bit of flavor of what's really going on. So that's exactly what we wanted to do here, and we have more coming. So I want you guys to not leave. We're gonna maybe end a little bit earlier today. And if you don't know, I believe Blaze, or their VDad, is going to be hosting a live on X in a little bit, just talking all things community, dad life, and also current events. So go check that out in just a little bit. But whenever Brofit is ready to go, we'll be good. But Bright, as you are traveling, you'll be there soon. It's okay. Where are you seeing any trends right now in overall movement, in anything that people are doing? I mean, the big thing right now I know is a lot of people have shifted, which has been great, to a lot of things, all kind of strength-based, more muscle building, less cardio, which I think there's going to be a correction at some point too. I think that there has been a lot of demonization of movement from a high intensity standpoint. Which I don't know if it's exactly correct, but I do want to make sure that, we kind of talk all things that are going to help. But have you seen any type of trends at all within movement space, strength space?
Not necessarily. I think you've kind of pinpointed it. I look at it as people are either in one of two ballparks. They like to get on the cardio machines, or they like to go running, or they like to get their heart rate up, and they're more of the, I need an hour or two by myself to think to myself. That could be rowing, biking, elliptical, swimming, jogging, whatever, any of those things where they're able to sit there and just do the same thing over and over for a period of time. And then there's the people that want to go in there and just primarily do what I considered old school bodybuilding. You're just your typical chest press, your bicep curls, your shoulder press, your triceps, your some squat rack maybe, and some leg press, standard movements that you should be doing anyways, your presses, your pulls, your hinges, but they're doing it. I see younger kids having a tendency to stick more to the bodybuilding-esque type movements because they're looking for the visual. So as
you mean
you
mean the aesthetic?
Yes, they're looking at their aesthetics are 100%. They're trying to attract a significant other, and how they look dictates, kind of what they're doing throughout the day, and who they're hanging out with and all that other stuff. I kind of see some of that happening. What I see people looking at health more, which is good. I think we're aware of certain things more so. I always think that if
When
guys,
you say health, what do you mean by health?
I think just the idea of health or fitness or um, maybe I live in a more of a health conscious type of city. Like Scottsdale is very much, I mean, I'm right on the border of Scottsdale. So I say I live in Phoenix. I'm literally 2 houses down from Scottsdale.
It's like a young area, right? That's where the University of Arizona is, right? Or Arizona State?
Arizona State University. Yeah, that's where I graduated from. It's probably like a 25-minute drive south of here from where I'm at right now.
Got it.
It's in
Okay.
Tempe, Arizona. But yeah, Scottsdale's a young, hip, plastic surgery, young looking, sexy people. And they're more health conscious. So a lot of people are going to the Sprouts and stuff like that, or they do their yogas, or it's just health is part of their lifestyle. They've incorporated or they figured out a way to make some sort of movement or health part of them.
Got it.
So that's kind of what I mean by that.
Okay.
There's obviously the other side where just kind of go through life and have, don't take but maybe 16 steps and have no idea what they're eating, and everything they eat is bioengineered foods and yada yada yada. But yeah, ultimately I just feel like if guys could go ahead and do a little bit more stretching and maybe get their heart rate up a little bit more, and if women could go lift some heavy ass weight, we would all be in better shape. That's as simple as
Yeah,
that.
I think you said that before about women doing some more things that men are doing, men doing more things that women are doing. I think it's good.
Balance it out.
Wait,
Balance
I'm
it
really
out.
excited. Well, hold on, Brian. I'm really excited. I don't know if you saw your logo yet. Have you seen your logo?
No, I haven't seen a thing. I actually pulled the vehicle over just
You're
because.
still driving. My goodness.
That's okay.
I was so excited. Brian. Now I gotta wait longer. Ugh.
I'm literally down the street of my house. I just didn't pull down to my house because the internet goes shaky. So how about this? If you give me, I'm pulling in up to my house right now. I will go through the house. Dogs can go crazy. I'll get to my studio in the back and we'll get back at this.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
I want to see it.
Yeah, no, you're going to see it. It's going to be good. The other thing is going to be this, guys. Very excited as well. If you don't know our other segments as of these days, we have Brofit's Movement. We have our current state of affairs with a lot of our clients. Now, the other thing that we have, so I want to get you guys excited for this too, because I just get excited again. I think if I have a vice, it's probably Canva, because Canva is probably where I love to spend most of my time if I feel like I have a creative bug happening. But the other thing that I love, hey Pupper, two, we got two. I didn't know. Yeah, I knew you had two. Yeah, three. What are you doing over there? My goodness.
There's the third one over in the corner. Hey, Bowie.
Beautiful. But we have what I wanted to show you guys is that we like to discuss topics, but take a different spin on some of these things. I think it's definitely necessary to think a little bit differently on these. And so one thing in particular that I want to make sure that we always have for, let's pull this up, make sure we have it here, is going to be a couple topics, some of the trending topics that are going to be relevant to anybody that is trying to improve their health. What I love to say is short-term body composition goals and long-term health. And so we have those, and we're going to help out. And if you guys have any topics that you want us to talk about, let's do it. But I have no problem choosing my own. But the thing is, when we choose our own without any randomization, it makes it a little bit harder. So we're going to come to this. I'm going to get you excited. What I want to make sure that we do is show you where are we at here. We have a few topics here, guys. We're going to have a few topics. We have a bunch here. We have a bunch of topics that we can definitely talk about. Now, this is where Brofit and I take either the pro or the anti side, right? The for or against. And we have a bunch of topics over here. Just like, for instance, if we're going to take one of these topics on this side, we could easily be talking health. Okay, got it. I love talking haze. I love talking health at every size. But Brofit would take either the for or against this topic, and we discuss it. Now, I don't know if are you familiar with what this movement is?
I don't even know if I want to say what I think it is. I don't
have no idea. It's probably what you think it is. And so it would be interesting if we flipped a coin and you took the side of pro Pro, health at every size. So there's a bunch of things on here, and I obviously I will lean towards nutrition stuff. So I took a bunch of training things and I threw them on there. But if anyone has anything, we can add it to the wheel. We can talk about these things and it'll be exciting. But we're going to come back to that. We're going to come back to that in just a little bit. We got an extra BroFit.
Yes.
We got BroFits all over the place.
Good.
We'll take one BroFit away. Well, you get it. You did it. Okay, cool. BroFit.
Yes. Can you hear
Look
me?
at the screen. Yes, perfectly.
Perfect.
Get excited.
Let's
It's
get
the
it.
BroFit movement of the day.
That's it. That's it. That's for you. I made that I took my time out of my day and I made that for you. We're going to do it. Okay.
It's the BroFit movement of the day.
It's for you, my friend. I made it. I was excited.
I almost fell backwards. That's awesome.
Do it. Let's go, BroFit. What's the movement of the day?
Man.
Oh, when we loop it, it makes it harder. Okay, stop it. Okay, cool. All right.
Man, what is the movement of the day? That's a great question. I kind of want to feed off a little bit of what we did yesterday and just give a different variation. But I'm not going to. I got super motivated. I've got to share this story because it just absolutely bam, it hit me like a ton of bricks this morning. And I want to give a shout out there to Mr. Spaceman, Alex, because he put up a post this morning of him doing his steps and he's carrying around 1 pound weights. And he says he's doing a lot of stuff for his shoulders and he's staying active. And he just gave a little shout out to me. And he said that he was taking some of my advice in terms of just reps. Sometimes when I said you don't have a lot of weight or you're not able to do a lot of weight or you're just volume, right? Do more. We've had this conversation. Just do more. Get more volume in. And so this was his way of saying, cool, I can control what I can, and I'm just going to do more reps. And I got super jacked up and excited about what he did and that he shared that with everybody. He also mentioned that he did it for the fact that he sits down at a desk all day long and that it's really helped not only strengthen his shoulders, but kind of loosen things up. So I would like to give him the movement of the day. And we are going to do what I call the Schwimmer drill. And the Schwimmer drill is going to help open up, open up your back. It's going to help out with not having a protracted shoulder girdle, which is like this fun thing, right?
Having a hard time with any pivot jokes right now. Need a pivot joke. Friends, we're talking friends. Pivot.
Pivot!
Schwimmer, right?
Pivot.
Okay, good.
Yes, pivot. So we're going to get into the Schwimmer. I love this as a mobility drill, as a stretching drill. If you've ever worked with me, you know that I like to do the least amount of work and get the most amount of results. And so if I can lay down on the ground, awesome. I'm going to do it. So I'm going to put this down. Just normally I would have a mat or something I can rest my forehead on. But as simple as this, I'm going to lay down on the ground. Okay? Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Perfect. I just want to make sure as I'm talking straight to the ground. So I'm going to be just laying out straight. My thumbs are going straight up in the air and my hands out directly in front of me, all right? Like I'm making an eye. Whoa, hello. Let's try that. Yes, now you can see it. So I'm going to start in this position. I'm not going to do a Superman where I'm lifting my arms and my legs. I'm just going to relax my legs. Okay, if I want to squeeze my butt, I can squeeze my butt, but I don't have to. This is all going to be out of my shoulders, you guys. So my arms are straight. From here, I'm going to simply lift my hands up off the ground about 2 or 3 inches. I'm going to bring my hands out to a T position. You can see I'm making a T with my body. My thumbs are still pointed up towards the sky. They're still 2 to 3 inches or so off the ground, and I'm locked out. I'm trying to press them out as far as I can. Thumbs still point up towards the sky. From here, I'm going to internally rotate my shoulders so that my palms go towards the sky now. And from here, I'm going to bring my palms straight together on my lower back, and I'm going to relax my shoulder blades down. I'm going to try to have my elbows touch the ground if possible. So I'm just relaxed. Take a deep breath. Squeeze the shoulder blades back, and we're going to just go back in reverse. So now my palms stay up. I'm going to bring them all the way out to the side. Palms still up. Now I'm going to externally rotate the shoulders. So now my thumbs go up towards the sky. And then from here, hands go all the way up. Make it into my eye position. And then relax. And we'll repeat, okay? 3 sets of 5, and you will feel your whole scapula, your shoulder blades, everything just completely light up. You may have a difficult time actually getting your hands up off the ground, so don't be discouraged if you're not getting them very far up. I'll go through it one more time real quick. Thumbs are up, hands 2 to 3 inches up. We're going out to a T position. Rotate so the palms go up. From here, bring the palms together. Relax the shoulders and elbows. Squeeze the shoulder blades down and back. Palms stay up as you're going out to the side. Rotate those thumbs all the way up, and from here, hands go back up to the front and relax. Okay.
That's so right.
The shimmer.
So the shimmer. This is going to be someone who maybe has been moved up their posture. Someone who's been maybe on their phone a little too long at a desk, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Even if you're doing some, like if you're an athlete and you're in the CrossFit and you're going to be working with a barbell, right? And to have control over your scapula is going to be extremely important. If you're looking to strengthen up and create some space, right? Guys, try this. I'm telling you, this is very, very difficult, especially if you're tight. If you love to lift heavy ass weight and you love doing chest press and you love doing bicep curls and you love doing rows and back and pull-ups and all that, try this one out. It's going to be very difficult. Ladies, if you don't lift a lot of heavy weights and you love yoga X type stuff, this is right up your alley. But it's not going to be a muscle building. It's going to tear down. It's going to lean you out. It's going to have you have control over scapulas.
Beautiful. And if you didn't know,
It's the BroFit movement of the day.
good job, Ray. We appreciate that. We definitely needed to have a way. We got to break through. We got to move our body a little bit, right? We're going to find ourselves at a chiropractor. We're going to try and be wondering where all these aches and pains are coming from. So great job with that. Definitely something that we have to stay on top of. So keep coming back, guys. We got movements of the day from BroFit all the time. Now, always trying to keep these kind of within an hour, but I think we definitely can. I think we'll be perfectly fine here. Now we are ready. BroFit, we're ready. This is where we get to discuss a topic that we might not know so much about, but I think we get to kind of tap our brain and really see what's going on. But you just get ready.
This way, that way.
We got topics. We got topics, guys. We're talking all things training and nutrition. We have stuff going on. So we want to make sure that we have topics that really resonate with you guys. So please, you got to let us know if there is something in particular. I got to take these banners out. We just upgraded from banners to better things. So we'll take the banners out. But we're sitting with a few topics. Is there anything in particular that you wish we hit on today?
I don't even know what you have up there. I'm trying to read them now. I'm just going through them going, I hope I know a little bit of everything on here. Otherwise, I'm going to feel lost. I hope just it doesn't land on something. I'm like,
But you know what? I think that's the beauty of it. I think the beauty of it is that many people don't know about these things, or maybe I think we hear these buzz terms, and so I think it's really good to just see. Okay, like I think it challenges us one on the topic, and then it challenges us to maybe think about one way or the other, right? This way, that way, about what's really going on. So very excited. Got a hair hanging down from my hat over here. It's bothering me. We got some good topics, so I'm very excited. Very excited. Okay, so. You let me know. Let me know when to spin. Let's go. Let's just do it. Anyway, I just did it. Oh, God. This is one I was not really thinking was going to be overly exciting, but that's okay. We got it. BroFit, do you know about dietary nitrates?
Not enough to really give a topic on it. I know that nitrates are in. I know nitrates are in your bacon, and people say don't eat bacon all the time, and I disagree with that. Eat bacon every day, damn it. Bacon's fucking delicious. It's good for you. It's high in fat. It's animal fat. It's good in protein. Bacon is amazing. So maybe that's all I got.
No, I think that's perfect. You know what we can do? We keep I feel like we keep doing a wheel of things. You know what we can do? Let's do. We can do. Hold on. Wheel of choice.
See,
Not
so
choice.
here's what's interesting about this conversation or the topic, though, is that is something that I would bring up with my nutritionist. That's something that I would bring up with somebody that I trusted that information with. That's not up my wheelhouse. That's not. I feel like in terms of the clientele that I see, to sit there and focus any energy on nitrates takes away from any and everything of them actually just making progress, of like moving forward. Like, I would rather just have them walk around the neighborhood than to sit there and have a conversation about nitrates. That's just me personally, because there's so many things we can get people to do and move and just that just doesn't come up to me. But that is something that I do feel like there is a need for it, and it is important at some point. And I would probably reach out to you.
Okay, let's do it. I personally hate the colors that are up here, and I wanted to change them, but now I don't know what I'm doing. That's okay. I'll change them later, but at least we have this set up now. This is what we're going to do. Yeah. If you don't love this topic, that's okay. It was a topic that I didn't love because it really is. It's actually a pretty straightforward topic, I think, but there was a list of popular topics, and it happened to be on it, which I was kind of surprised about. It was, I was on some website. It's not up here right now. But it was on some website. So whatever it is, why don't we spin again? Now this isn't, we can't make it a thing though, Brian. We have to, in the future, we have to.
I never said spin it again. You said spin it again.
Oh.
But we can spin it. I think we should spin it again because I feel like we need to deliver. I think we need to be able to deliver for our audience, and I don't feel as that. I think that will be good for a future ones, and go back and do a little research on it rather than feeling like I have nothing. So.
Oh, good. And maybe, you know what? We can share the wheel. We can do some research in some certain areas if we need to. Let's spin again. Hopefully it's not going to be nitrates. Let's see what we have happening.
Nitrates.
Okay. That's the feel method. All right. Interesting. How do we feel about this? Do we have an idea of what we're talking about?
Maybe.
So,
go back to it. What was it again?
I should have left it up a little bit. I think we can go back to our history over here. Hold on.
Feel good method.
So yeah. So basically what it is, it's the idea of like tracking everything and like wearables and stuff like that versus just, feeling things out. So I think that's.
I lost you.
What do you mean you lost me? You can't hear me?
You're gone. Oh,
why am I gone?
You're coming back. You're back.
Okay, got it. So basically, oh wait, you look frozen now. So basically what it was, it's like all about like wearables and like over analyzing. You know what it is? You know how like in sports in the NFL, there's a lot of people that are looking at like every bit of data. Why are you frozen, Brian?
I don't know. I'm here. Can you hear me though?
I can hear you. Now you're frozen still.
So the one of them was the feel good effect or the feel good method. What was the other one? I just didn't hear the name of it.
Man, I should have left it up. It feels so bad now. Hold on, let me find it. There you are. You're back. It's the feel good method or like advanced strategies and tracking, basically.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay.
Got it?
Yeah, I got it.
It's this right here. It's advanced monitoring techniques. Right. So it's like, it's like overutilizing what I think is going to be, ways that you're going to measure everything. And then you have the feel method as well. All right.
Yep. Perfect.
Got it. So we have that. Let's also get our choice wheel up here. We have our for or against wheel. Let's see what's going on. I'll spin it. Bri, this is going to be for you. I'm going to spin it, and then we'll see.
I know which one I would like to do.
Okay. All right. So I guess it's tough because we had like two there, right? But I'll let you choose which one you want to talk more about.
I'm going to talk. I'll talk more about the feel-good method, and I'll talk against the more data entry. I guess that's what we can call it.
Yeah, I think that is exactly what it is. I think
Yeah.
I think we're good to go there. So we'll do that. I have a timer ready to go. We'll get this
Right.
timer up and we will be set. We're going to, hold on, stay there. We're working through kinks all the time. We're making sure this happens. Okay. Where are you at? Why are you not here?
I'm
Why are
here.
you not showing up? No, I know you're there. I know you're there. You're all good.
I haven't gone
You're all
anywhere.
good.
I'm still here.
No, I see. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Oh my gosh, why isn't it showing? Oh, it's so upsetting. That's okay. That's okay. We're going to figure out how to do this right now, Bri. You know why? Because I have a good countdown timer right here.
Bang.
That's not
I got one that's slow if you need it.
I know, you got it right there, and I like it.
No, you're
No,
frozen.
you know what we're going to have to do is this. We're just going to do the whole screen. That's okay.
You're gone. You're lost. You're
Oh,
going
maybe it's
back.
just, oh God, that's
No,
not going to
you're
work,
back.
is it?
I see the
That's not
timer.
going to work. Yeah, but it's off. Okay. You know what? I'm going to ask you to set your timer because it's just not going to happen now.
Cool. No worries. I got it.
Go ahead, set your timer.
All right. 2 minutes starting in 10 seconds. You'll hear the beeps. You'll hear that beautiful CrossFit 3, 2, 1 beat.
This way, that way.
All
All
right.
right, guys. We got 2 minutes here to talk about why the feel-good method is a lot better or more efficient than the data method, like I would like to call it. The feel-good method, I will base this off of a few reasons. I will give you paint a picture for you. Unfortunately, Mrs. Jones is not going to be very happy with me, but we can all picture going into a hospital and seeing a very overweight, unhealthy-looking nurse. If you go talk to that nurse and you talk to her about her data, she will say that her data says that she is a healthy individual. I would go ahead and disagree with that because a feel-good method of her running up and down the stairs once or twice is going to give you a lot different feedback than that data, right? So for me, the feel-good method, you got to listen and respond to your body and not necessarily be reliant on a data in terms of information. Now, I think data and information can give you a ballpark. It can give you kind of like a comfort zone. It's like having rules and regulations. It kind of gives you a certain boundary, right? But we can kind of start to play with those a little bit. So I prefer to listen to my body rather than forcing myself to do things that may be considered data, right? I'm gonna kill some people are gonna kill me right now for saying this, but we went through this whole controversy with COVID. Data or the feel-good method. Data suggested one thing, didn't it? The feel-good method kind of suggested something differently, perhaps. So I don't necessarily always trust my data and where my data comes from. I personally do trust how I feel, though.
Got it. I loved it. All right. That was pretty good. It's pretty good. Again, okay. I'm gonna keep overusing this.
This way, that way.
So got the fights happening. I'm getting ready to go. I feel like I just keep playing around. Hold on. We're gonna do a little fight music underneath here. All right. I'm still saying, we will get a lot smoother with this as we go. We have advanced tracking, right? That's basically what we're doing right now. All right, set me up.
You're gone. You're doing it.
Oh wait, okay, wait. Wait. I want to see the timer. Move the camera. Can you? I can't see.
It'll be backwards for you. 3, 2.
Oh, guys.
1.
All right. Look, advanced tracking versus the feel-good method. And if you don't know what this is, it's you just basically measuring progress in some sort of way. with numbers, right? What you measure matters. And that's a necessary thing to always do. Now, the other thing is going to be the feel-good method. The feel-good method is great for some time, but it's not going to be the thing that's actually going to make the biggest difference in the long run. So again, I will say this, and I want this to get into your head, that what you measure matters. There's no way in many situations that you're going to understand what a certain, say, amount of protein is, or what a certain amount of steps, how it's actually going to end up making you feel. Now, I have so many examples of this, right? I know that everybody out there wants to get to a certain point where they don't have to use something like a wearable. I know that you don't want that kind of thing, but to get there is the most necessary thing, because when we are looking at how you are going to measure progress, your feelings and your emotions are always going to change faster than anything on a scale. It's going to change faster than anything how your muscles are going to be growing. You can feel as if one day you're going to wake up and it's going to feel really great, and another day you're going to wake up and you feel like crap, but you are making progress the whole time. But what you have to come back to are objective measures. If someone feels as if if a client tells me I'm not losing weight, I don't feel good right now, and I can say, I hear you, you're frustrated. So let's find some solutions because of your feeling. But I'm going to go back to those objective numbers, and I'm going to let you know that you've lost 6 pounds of body fat across the past month and a half. So I'm going to now operate from the point of view that nothing is broken. You just have a feeling, and now we can go off that. But advanced tracking, if we don't have it, then we have to deal with those feelings more than anything else. That was that. I don't know if I loved it, but that's okay. That's okay. All right.
I love these arguments, and I'll explain afterwards. But go ahead.
All right. So now we're going to go back. We have counter arguments for 1 minute each. Talk about it. We've heard what each other has said, and we got to go back to BroFit now. So BroFit, we're going back to the feel good method. All right. You have 1 minute for closing arguments.
Yeah. I will start here in 3 seconds. Okay, counter arguments, closing arguments for the feel good method. I'm going to kind of go against what I should be doing right now, and I'm going to kind of slightly agree with your stance as well. And the reason I want to do that is I don't feel that there's one right answer for this. I feel like they both mesh together, and I feel like a lot of the topics that we've used are kind of a yin and yang concept in some sort of sense. There's not necessarily one is perfect and the other one is not perfect, or one will work all the time and the other one won't work all the time, but they're really stepping stools for one another. And in fact, if I have numbers to go back and base off of, but then still be able to base on off of how I feel. Perfect example, you talk to your daughter about her belly and how full she feels and how it makes her feel, right? Hey, how is your stomach with these pictures and how full is it? And then how does that make you feel? And those things are going to change from time to time. So I feel that it's important, because if we're trying to constantly say, hey, Mrs. Jones or Mr. Jones, you need to make an increased muscle mass, so you need to eat this much, but it makes them feel really bad, then we're maybe doing a disservice to our clients and not listening to that. So I feel like there should be a balance between the two, and actually one is more of a stepping stool for the other.
Got it. How much time do you have left?
I went over like 20 seconds.
Didn't even beep.
Because it's still set at the 2 minute. Sorry.
Oh, goodness.
You're 3, 2, 1. Oh, no, your minute's going down. You got 59 seconds, 58.
No, that's totally fine. All right. Back for advanced tracking. And I want to make sure that, both are definitely going to go together. But if you're starting out right now and you don't have a way to track your progress, you're only going to have to rely on your feelings. And again, your feelings are not always going to dictate exactly the progress that you've ended up having. It's the same thing as trying to know if you are navigating appropriately. If you feel lost, that doesn't mean that you're actually lost, right? If you feel as if you are tired, okay, it doesn't even matter sometimes, because you do need to just get up and go do things. If it ends up being a work day, I understand you can't base your work day and your parenting based off of how you feel. You know that you have to go to work for your 9 to 5 in some cases. You know that you have to parent from at least, say, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. You know that you have to parent from 4:30 to at least 8:30 at night. It doesn't matter. I know how you feel, but we still have to get it done despite those feelings. And all we have to do is make sure that we're understanding what those challenges are and find some solutions. And once we do, we can overcome those feelings. But through that period, we're going to be successful. But we have to still look at numbers. What you measure matters.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I picked the 1 because I find that to be useful for me, because I guess we talked about the maintenance stage, right? I can build and I can break. I can kind of play with my body. I'm at that point where I can kind of play with my body a little bit, so I know my needs and how to fix them a little bit more maybe necessarily than Mr. and Mrs. Jones. So I come in and I can listen to I can respond to how my body, what the needs are for my body at that moment, but still knowing that, hey, there's a goal, and keeping those things into check, because there is ultimately a goal. There is a number. There is a way to track these things. And whether I started off, if you guys started following my morning coffee shows, I put a halt to them, by the way. I stopped doing them. But I started doing them for about 8 or 9 months. And when I first started, it was 2 to 4 exercises for 100 repetitions. And that was how I tracked my numbers, how I tracked my workouts. And that slowly developed me into doing more and wanting to do more and getting more creative, and allow me to expand based off of I guess how I felt at that point. But I think it's really, numbers are everything. I think it is really important, because it's kind of like last night, me doing my steps. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gave a crap about how I felt. The numbers didn't care. You either get 15K or you don't get 15K. You either get your goal of 12K or you don't get your 12K. Like, if you put a number out there and you set it up as a goal, you either achieve it or you don't achieve it. So I probably work a little bit better with the advanced tracking. However, I like to listen to how my body's responding. So if something doesn't feel right, or if I feel overloaded on a weight, or if food's not making my stomach feel correct, or if too much food is making me not sleep well at night, I will still tap into those things and those feelings, just to make sure again that I'm playing it safe. And I'm listening to how my body's responding. If I eat chocolate at night and I'm on the toilet for 7 hours, I probably shouldn't do that anymore, Yeah.
No, you're right. Look, I think that it's neither one or the other as much as it is both right now. So, but yeah, I think it's interesting to kind of argue more for one or more for the other, which is definitely good. So I think we're good. We both win. And we're definitely in a good spot. So not a problem. Winners all around. That's what I'm going to say.
Got it all going
right, guys.
down. Love it.
All of it. So guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening in to everything we got going on. But that's what we have. And
This way, that way.
Check in next time. We'll have another topic. We'll choose something different. Well, the wheel's going to choose for us. That's what's going to happen. But we'd love to take any of those topics that anyone else has, and we'll make sure that it is something of interest. All right, cool. But let's end it there. We're always trying. I always want to give it like 40 minutes, maybe at most an hour, but it's just so hard to kind of break away from some of the topics. So I get it. So we'll do our best here. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, dude. Well, any closing messages? Anything else you want to just let anybody know?
Don't be afraid to be great.
Don't be afraid to be great. I think it's a great one. I think it's perfect. And as I always say too, if it's working for you, your health, your mindset, and your definition of success, you do you. You keep doing you. No one deserves to tell you different, guys. All right, we'll see you back here tomorrow. We're live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, talking all things training, nutrition, health. Please share the streams. If there's something that's been helpful for you, it can help for one other person for sure. And we will talk with you guys next time. All right, guys, peace out.